Good morning. Oh, wow, it's Monday again. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm Dr. Tricia Pingle. It is bright and early Monday morning here in Arizona. Beautiful day here today and quite surreal. My kids actually went back to physical school today. So normally in Arizona, we start school early, usually the first week of August. So my kids started school. But it was all online. So today was the first day that they physically left the house and went to school, and I'm so excited for them. I know it's a controversial subject. I know some people don't think they should go to school. Others say yes. You know, for me, for my kids, for their social development and what I've witnessed with them doing it online, school is the best place for them mentally. And so I'm excited to have kids that come home smiling and hopefully a bit more relaxed now that they're starting to get some sort of normalcy in some respect. I mean, as much as you can with all the rules, but my kids, definitely better for them to be out and seeing their friends. So I'm pretty excited. It's a pretty fun day for them, and my husband and I are kind of like, wow, the house is quiet. I don't get it. We don't have to see them all day. I mean, I don't think we've had a day like that since late March. So very odd, but very excited at the same time. Very excited for them. And my youngest, they went to a new school. They're both going to new schools. Long story, but my youngest Shay was very timid this morning. I think he wanted to pull a Ferris Bueller, and my older one was so excited to go that he kept pacing the house all morning. So totally different reactions, but really excited that they can get out there and see their friends. So my favorite part of my day today, I think, is going to be around 3:00 when they return home and they can tell me about their day and hopefully have some big smiles on their faces, because it's been very difficult. All you parents know it's been very difficult trying to do all this from home. So I'm pretty psyched. So we're going to talk about something that has to do with school today, right? You leave an apple on the teacher's desk, right? We used to do that. You probably can't do that now. We're going to talk about the apple. There has been a saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I'm going to ask the question, does it really? How do apples benefit your health? Do they really keep the doctor away? And I will tell you, resounding yes, they do. They are very good for your health in numerous different ways. So we're going to talk about the studies surrounding apples. I grew up in Washington State, which is, I believe, the apple capital of the world. So apples were always part of my daily routine, and I don't go to the doctor very often, so maybe there's a link, huh? Who is Ferris Bueller? Oh, I was going to say, even my 9-year-old knows that. He laughed last night when I said that. My husband and I said, okay, Shay, don't pull a Ferris Bueller tomorrow because you're nervous. And he just laughed. I said, we're not going to believe you. But yeah, my 9-year-old is totally Ferris, like without a doubt. You guys have seen him, you know. So let's talk about the apple. A lot of apple fans out there, right? Me too. And my kids have apple slices in their lunch today, ironically. But here's the thing. Eating apples whole is different than drinking apple juice. So we're going to talk about the difference in why the actual fruit itself is so beneficial. Now, one of the things that I spend a lot of time doing here on my lives is talking about how nutritious food is, and if you eat the right food, how your body will work for you, not against you. This is testament to that something that grows on a tree can actually help manage your health. Okay, so we're going to talk about weight management, we're going to talk about asthma, we're going to talk about the immune system, we're going to talk about diabetes, and we're going to talk about neurological disease like Parkinson's, all relating to something as simple as an apple, right? An apple a day will absolutely keep the doctor away. Patricia, all right, just had an apple. Nice. I think I'll have one too after this. I'm still working on my coffee. Like I said, it's been quite the morning. Getting the kids out the door, but it's all good. All right, so let's talk about some of the studies surrounding apples. And there's a lot of them, okay? And the nice thing about apples, as you know, is there's so many different varieties, different flavors. They're easy to store. They don't go bad quickly. You know, we have to keep ours in our fridge in Arizona because if we keep fruit on the counter, it's just too warm. It just doesn't work. So we always have nice, crisp apples, and I try to rotate what kinds. Really comes down to flavor preference. I mean, there's some flavonoid differences in whether it's green or red or whatnot, but for the most part, the benefits of apples go across all apple varieties. So I do recommend organic when it comes to apples. I do believe the apple still made the dirty dozen. Don't quote me. I'm pretty sure it did, though. They need to be washed up really well by organic apples and use an apple cider vinegar wash to wash it off, okay? So you don't get any pesticides or junk on there, okay? So let's talk about how apples support your weight. That's right. Now, if you think about this, any of you have done any sort of, I guess, diet, quote diet, you know, anything from Weight Watchers to Jenny Craig to like different trainers' diets, I guarantee you apples are still on the list, right? Apples are always in there as a snack. Why? Because they help your weight. They help your weight management. So let's talk about why. So there was a study, there's a ton of studies. One of them was on 49 overweight women, and they were between the ages of 30 to 50. And those who ate apples over a period of 10 weeks lost just over an average of 2 pounds, okay? Also, and this is where I think the key comes in, they ate fewer calories than those that ate pears and those that ate cookies. So there's something about the apple that just fills you up. It makes you feel satisfied. You don't need to eat as much, not to mention its fiber content and its nutrient content, okay? There was another study in 2009 that revealed that when people ate apple slices for once a week for 5 weeks, okay, they consumed on average 15% less calories during lunch than those who didn't eat apple slices. So that's often why apple slices are given as a snack. How do you properly wash your fruit? There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I use an apple cider vinegar wash, typically 50-50. You can put it in a spray and spray it on. You can also let it just kind of sit in that solution and then scrub it with a brush and then rinse it really well. There's a couple different ways to do it. Soaking's usually easier just because I don't want to stand there and spray it and scrub it the whole time. Hope that helps. Also, it depends on the fruit too, if it's porous versus not. An apple is nice and solid, so you can usually soak it for a little bit. Love the apple theme. All right. All right, so weight management. Interestingly, eating apple slices was found to be more filling or satisfying than drinking apple juice or eating applesauce, okay? So this goes down to, is applesauce the same as apples when it comes to health? No. Is apple juice the same as apples when it comes to health? No, they're not the same. It's not the juice, it's the whole fibrous plant. The beauty of plants, and the beauty of plants for medicine, is that as their whole form, that's the medicine, right? So when you start to extract stuff for them, yeah, you can extract out certain things and turn it into a medicine. You know, you can use it for different aspects of the plant, which is done often in botanical medicine. But when you're talking about eating for health, eating for your body, eating that whole plant usually has the best benefit. And this is no exception with apples. Apples is definitely an entire plant thing, okay? Number 2, now you may not know this, but apples have been shown in research to lower your risk of asthma, right? I know, right? I'll talk about the studies in a second, but essentially, the prevalence of pulmonary disorders in general have been increasing over the past several decades across the world. Okay, environmental and lifestyle factors. One of those lifestyle factors that's impacting pulmonary health is our lowered intake of eating antioxidants. We do not eat enough antioxidants in the standard American diet. All these foods that are be putting together, all these processed foods, do not contain antioxidants. Antioxidants come from the plants in the world, for the most part. So if you're eating a lot of plants, you're getting a lot of antioxidants. As a whole in the world, we're not. And so that's contributed partially to the reason why pulmonary disorders are going up. Also, environmental toxins, of course, the air, right? It's dirty. Okay, it is thought that the lungs in particular are very, very susceptible to oxidative damage. Okay, so they break down more than other parts of our body, and this is in all these experimental studies and all these studies, they're starting to find that that's why asthma seems to be on the rise. Okay, so eating phytochemicals that have a positive impact on the lung tissue is really important. Apples being one of them. Okay, there was a study, and this was a big one, over 68,000 adult women. Okay, and they revealed that eating at least 15% of a large apple, so what, a couple slices, every day, reduced their risk of asthma by 10%. Cool. Think about that in kids, right? Likewise, additional studies have shown that a greater consumption of apples is associated with less wheezing and asthma symptoms in children and young adults. As a result, the researchers stated that eating whole foods such as apples may be beneficial in preventing or improving asthma. Okay, so put an apple in that kid's lunch. Baking apples. Yeah, you lose a little bit of that fibrous content when you bake them. You know, anytime you bake anything, it changes the composition. I don't think it makes it irrelevant. You know, I think it's kind of nice to have variety, Lori. So sometimes it's nice when you can switch it up. These studies are on raw apple consumption. I don't have any studies to quote on baked apple consumption, but I think anytime you just need to switch it up for flavor, you go for it, right? I mean, I bake apples with Brussels sprouts. I bake apples with sweet potatoes. Oh, love baked apples with sweet potatoes. So I put fruit in a lot of my roasting vegetables just to add a little bit of a kick and a little bit of sweetness without having actual sweetener, right? But yeah, it'll lose some of its component by cooking it, for sure. But I don't think you should not do it. Just mix it up. Okay, I mean, these studies are only showing eating apples like 2 slices a day or a couple times a week. These aren't showing that you have to be eating raw apples all day long. So if you're having a half an apple every day as a snack, you know, you're getting that health benefit for sure. Okay, now number 3, and this goes back to my original quote in the beginning where I said, does an apple a day keep the doctor away? It has been shown that if you eat apples, it will support your immune system health. Why? Right? How does it do that? Do we just take the word for that? Is this old saying really true? It is, and it's due to the fiber. Okay, so the fiber in the apples provide major health benefits to your immune system. Now, if you think about that, we've talked about the immune system in regards to gut health, in regards to bacterial flora in the gut, repetitively, right? And how there's certain bacteria in your gut that have a more beneficial impact on your immune system, and that you can feed those bugs to boost your immune system. That is or regulate your immune system. And apples play a role in that. Okay, apples is one of those foods that will feed your gut flora. Also, there was a study that looked at the soluble fiber in apples, and it's been shown to reduce inflammation and, as a result, strengthen the immune system. And it does this by increasing the production of anti-inflammatory protein called interleukin-4. Now, interleukins are basically part of our chain of immune system, right, that react to things. We have a bunch of different ones. So apples activate interleukin-4. I should also say that, what was I going to say? It had to do with the inflammation. Just in general, the antioxidants are anti-inflammatory. Oh, apple pectin. If you're someone that's where I was going. It's morning. One of the things that you can do to help with bowel movements, you know, a lot of people go and take brand name psyllium husk that are full of a bunch of stuff. In this case, you can take apple pectin, get some of the benefits of apple as well, and it'll taste good in your smoothie, and that'll help you get some more fiber, help you promote good bacterial flora. So apple pectin is another option for those of you that are constipated instead of using psyllium husk. So keep that in mind. You can find it at your local health food store, or you can simply eat more apples. Hello. I see a couple hellos over there. Hello. All right. So, yes, an apple a day can keep the doctor away. But let's move on to 2 more benefits, okay, before I let you guys go. Number 4, contains anti-diabetic properties. Now, we've been saying that a lot lately. It seems like every food we talk about that's plant-based has some sort of impact on your blood sugar. I don't know if you're getting the hint, but the bottom line is diabetics and people with blood sugar dysregulation do fantastic on a plant-based diet. They do, if they do it correctly, okay? There is a difference between a carbohydrate, sugar, and a complex carbohydrate. So the fiber matters, okay? The amount of fiber in it. So when you take apple juice, if I were to feed diabetics apple juice, it will have a negative impact on their blood sugar. But if we feed them whole apples, it's been shown to have a positive impact on their blood sugar. In fact, there was a 2017 meta-analysis that looked at over 228,000 participants. They consumed apples every day, and it reduced the risks of developing type 2 diabetes by 18%. Okay? Moreover, the analysis revealed that if you just eat one serving per week, the risk of type 2 diabetes lowers by 3%. Okay? There are many other studies that also consume that if you eat the whole fruit, it will have a positive impact on your diabetes. So if you're diabetic and your doctor has said, you can't eat fruit, there's too much sugar, right? That can be true if the other things you're eating are full of a ton of sugar. But if you're eating a well-rounded whole food diet, you can absolutely include fruits, okay? Really comes down to it. If you're having a bagel for breakfast, no, you probably can't have an apple. I'd choose the apple over the bagel, okay? So look at the quality of your complex carbohydrate rather than just the number of carbohydrates. We spend so much time in our world and medicine just counting the macros and going with it. We count the calories and the macros and we leave it at that. There is so much nutrition. Two carbohydrates are not the same, okay? They could be the same number, but what they do in the body and the benefits to the body could completely change by the composition of that carbohydrate, okay? So fruit does actually have positive impact on the blood sugar, guys. Don't let that steer you. You just have to look at the diet as a whole and make an assumption on how much fruit you can have, if that makes sense. Interestingly, the study that looked at consuming whole fruits for diabetes also looked at just drinking the juice, okay? So if you were just to have apple juice or fruit juice, it actually increased the risk of type 2 diabetes. You want to tell me why? Why? Why would fruit juice increase your risk of diabetes, but the whole fruit lower it? I'll give you a second. It's a quiz. Come on. I know you guys know the answer. I know, it's Monday. How could I give you a quiz? How mean of me. It's like a pop quiz. See, I'm in the school mode. The difference between the juice and the whole fruit is the fibrous component. It's the fiber in there. No, the sugar's the same, right? Vic, the sugar in the juice, if you were to juice an apple or you were to eat an apple, the sugar's the same. The carbohydrate component is identical, right? For the most part. The difference is the fibrous part of the apple. That's what matters. No, not high fructose. I'm even saying just juicing it. If you just took an apple, one person ate it, one person juiced it. Why would the person who juiced it have a worsening impact on their blood sugar versus the person that ate it? It's the fiber. Nice job over there on Instagram who got it. Woohoo! I wish I had a prize. It's the fiber, not added sugars. You guys are thinking of commercial apple juice. I'm talking about just the juice. But you are right in that if you buy some of the commercial apple juices like marketed to kids and stuff, they do absolutely have added sugar. Yes, they have added high fructose, but there's a benefit in the whole apple of the fiber. That is why the whole fruit matters in diabetes, not just the carbohydrate component. Does that make sense? Right, Lori? You got it. Okay? So yeah, if you're going to juice it, sometimes you can add the pulp back in. I know there is some impact to that. And a lot of people, when they juice an apple, like do a green juice, they save the remains, the fibrous component from it and bake that in muffins and stuff. There's a reason, okay? Because the fiber matters, okay? You guys did pretty good. Not bad. But that's why, right? It just goes to the point. The whole point of me quizzing you was to say the point that all carbohydrates, even though they're the same number, do not matter. The whole thing matters, okay? Yeah, absolutely. The sugar is not the same with apple juice. You should go on Ben Greenfield's podcast. Have him invite me. I'll go. I do guest spots. I just have to be invited. So if you guys want to hook me up to be invited on someone's podcast, I will absolutely consider it. In fact, I may even consider my own. Hang tight. Down the line. On the way. All right. Lastly, and this one was pretty cool. These studies are pretty neat. If any of you have someone who is dealing with Parkinson's disease or any type of neurological disease, even Alzheimer's and whatnot, it's difficult, right? Diet makes a huge difference. And that's across the board. If people with neurological disease, and you see this with MS all the time, if they have a cleaner, more whole food diet, they have less symptoms than those that don't. Okay, so neurological diseases in general benefit from a plant-based diet, but there's a lot of studies on apples as well in specific to these sorts of diseases. In fact, apple benefits extend to lowering your risk of major neurodegenerative disorders. Certain studies have found that eating apples regularly will actually help lower the risk of developing Parkinson's disease. Okay? Now, for years, research has shown that damage to the mitochondria, which is inside the cell, it's the part inside the cell that produces our energy, okay, the mitochondria, going back to high school biology there. Research has shown that damage to the mitochondria in the brain cells is largely responsible for the development of Parkinson's. Okay, so when the mitochondria become damaged, it causes the brain cells to die prematurely. But research has also shown that when you consume flavonoids regularly, and flavonoids are what are found in fruits, including apples, you can actually protect your cells from mitochondrial damage. And I would venture to say this extends far beyond Parkinson's. I mean, mitochondria in general, when they're damaged, we have disease, right? So no matter where it is, wherever it's located in the body. So, one of the richest foods with flavonoids is this apple of ours, okay? Has a ton of flavonoids. In fact, a study of more than 50,000 men, they found that thanks to the positive effects of flavonoids on brain cells, eating apples decreased the risk of developing Parkinson's. In fact, what they did, they compared them to those who ate less than 1 apple per month. Men who ate 5 or more servings of apples each week had substantially decreased risk of Parkinson's. So 1 apple per month versus 5 or more servings of apples per week, right? More positive impact on the mitochondrial brain cells. Now, what does that mean numerically if we put it into some equations and tell you lowered risk? How substantial was this decrease? Those who ate the most flavonoid-rich foods were 40% less likely to develop Parkinson than those who ate the least amount of flavonoids. Now, we've seen that with dementia as well. Huge impacts in studies on certain foods and brain health, right? We've talked about the gut. We've talked about the importance of gut flora and the brain. We've talked about oral health and the brain. Even having bacteria in the mouth, periodontal disease can increase your risk of Alzheimer's. So we need to eat fiber to feed good bugs, number one. And then also we need to have the direct impact of that plant, the antioxidants, the flavonoids on our cells to keep them healthy. Okay, so apples will keep the doctor away. They will. It's, wives' tale true for those of you that thought false. And I bet none of you thought false, right? It seems like you have a lot of apple lovers out there today. So this was kind of a quick topic today, but seemed fitting with the first day back to school. I should have sent some apples to give the teacher, but I did send the kids apples in their lunch, and we will see if they actually eat them. My kids actually adore apples. They probably, I would say at least Shay eats at least 1 apple a day, if not more. My kids are definitely apple eaters. They're a staple in our house. And if you're one that's kind of gotten out of that habit, or you worry more about the sugar in the apple, the carbohydrate in the apple, don't. Eat the apple. There are tons of benefits showing that it will absolutely be worth it. Silly question. There's never a silly question, Lori, ever. I love silly questions. It's great. Does it matter how well we chew apples in the mouth? It absolutely does. Now, one of the biggest things, and this kind of goes to the whole subject of just fruits and vegetables in general, is a lot of people say, well, I can't eat broccoli because I get gassy, or I get stomach aches when I eat Brussels sprouts or whatever. one of the things we do when we're in a hurry, we're under stress, we're trying to rush through our meal, is we don't chew well enough. There's an enzyme in our saliva that helps to break down carbohydrates. It's called amylase. So if you don't chew plants well, they land into the stomach prematurely before they're properly digested. That puts more stress on your gut to digest them. So yes, absolutely, Lori, not a stupid question. In fact, I bet we just taught a bunch of people something from your question. So thank you. You must chew your food, particularly plants. Take your time. If you look in many cultures, they spend an hour or two eating dinner. In America, I think like the average time of eating is like 4 minutes or something. I mean, it's like 5 minutes. I mean, my kids, even at school, their lunch is 15 minutes. I mean, you know, we shove everything down and we eat it, and then we wonder why we're bloated and we have digestive issues, right? You need to chew them. Chew them really well. Let the salivary amylase work. There's a reason why you have saliva in your mouth. So let it do its job. Very good question. Right, guys? Very good question. Yeah. Does more apple consumption cause constipation? I think the opposite. With the fiber, as long as you're drinking enough water. Now, if you're eating a lot of fiber and you're not drinking enough water, yes, you will absolutely become constipated. If you're eating enough fiber and you're having enough water and there isn't something like a magnesium deficiency or something that's preventing you from actually going, you will absolutely have better bowel movements. You know, I know that there's the brat diet or whatever that includes apples, but actually it's applesauce. You ever notice that? I think it's bananas, right, applesauce, and toast, not apples. And there's a difference, right? So those of you that are watching from other countries, I'm sure you guys spend far more time eating dinner. I know in America we don't. We just shove everything down. Everything's fast. Everything's got to be done now. We got to get it done. We got to eat. We got to move on. We don't think of, as a whole, we don't think of nutrition and meals as a bonding time, as an experience. And I think that's something that we're lacking. And something that I've been trying to teach my kids is let's sit down, let's talk, let's enjoy each other's company. This is, when we eat, is a time to talk and just be in the moment. But too often we're in our cars eating, or we're quickly grabbing something from here to there. I mean, I'm a big fan of smoothies. Don't get me wrong. I love smoothies, but I find myself grabbing a smoothie, you know, at the local smoothie place because I'm running out of time to eat. And that's a problem. Like, I don't like that. A smoothie makes it easy to eat and run. So pros and cons, right? So, okay, yes, mindfulness and chewing well. Okay, I hope that helped with the constipation question. All right, so all of you off to eat apples today. And I am going to get a ton of work done because my kids are not home, and I'm going to look forward to 3 o'clock when I get to see my little cherubs come home and tell me about their first day at school. I can't tell you how excited I am for them. And no matter how you feel about this situation, you do what you got to do for your family. My family needed to go back to school today. My kids have been very depressed not being at school, and it breaks my heart as a mom. So I'm so focused on today and seeing them come home and talk about their day. So you guys enjoy your day. I will be back tomorrow. For those of you new here, I am Dr. Tricia Pingle. This is your morning checkup. I'm here Monday through Friday around 9:15 Arizona time, which is the same as Pacific time for now. And I'll be back tomorrow with another topic. Great to see you all. Have a great day. Happy Monday. If this was helpful to you, please like, share, visit drpingle.com for more information. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye now.